Hey, welcome back to Punchline Protocol, the only place where we treat global chaos with the respect it deserves, open sarcasm, and barely suppressed laughter. Quick disclaimer before we dive in. This video is a satire. If you're expecting policy analysis, you're in the wrong multiverse. This is parody. Parody that just happens to sound disturbingly close to reality. So, Trump and Musk. The bromance no one asked for, and yet somehow, still too much. One's a former president with a Wi-Fi password for a mouth. The other's a tech mogul who thinks civilization can be run like a group chat. And at some point in this reality show we call 2025, they decided to team up, because nothing says national stability like mixing Twitter meltdowns with classified briefings. They even launched the Department of Government Efficiency, abbreviated it DOGE, because of course they did. Apparently, if it's not a meme, it's not a policy. And for a brief, shining moment, the headlines loved it. Billionaire brains unite. America wins. But behind the curtain, two turbocharged egos trying to out-alpha each other in the same room. Spoiler, mirrors were harmed. This wasn't a partnership. It was a stunt. And now that the circus tent is on fire, everyone's pretending to be shocked. But don't worry, we're not. Because the real show is just getting started. Hey, if you're still watching and you're not subscribed, that's like binge-watching a soap opera and refusing to admit you're hooked. Just hit that button. Punchline Protocol runs on caffeine, existential dread, and your subscriptions, and 2 of those are running low. Let's be clear, this wasn't some visionary alliance. It was more like a PR stunt wrapped in a midlife crisis. At first, they paraded around like a divorced Batman and Iron Man reboot. Trump promised to put Musk on a Tech and Freedom Council, which sounds important until you realize it met once, on X Spaces, and got kicked offline halfway through because someone forgot to mute their mic. Meanwhile, Musk renamed government departments like they were Tesla models. The IRS became the Fun Revenue Experience. The Department of Energy? Just zappy things. Even FEMA got a rebrand. Oops Squad. And Trump? He treated Musk like a one-man news channel. Anytime he needed a distraction, Musk was conveniently tweeting something outrageous, like proposing to replace Congress with a DAO run on Dogecoin. Yes, that actually trended. But things got weird when they started overlapping on the crazy. Trump wanted to put Space Force in charge of Border Patrol. Musk floated building a Tesla gigafactory on the moon. And for about 3 days, there was real legislative debate about it. Their dynamic was chaos with Wi-Fi. One would shout about freedom, the other would whisper about algorithms. It was like watching 2 different internet cults merge and immediately start arguing over who gets admin rights. And as with all alpha male duos, cracks started forming fast. Musk liked being the smartest guy in the room. Trump liked being the only guy in the room. You can imagine how that played out. Eventually, Musk subtweeted Trump using just a Shakespeare quote, and Trump clapped back on Truth Social with a meme of Musk photoshopped as Grimes. Mature politics in the age of AI. And yet, the real question isn't how they fell apart. It's how anyone thought this would work in the first place. If you zoom out just a little, the Trump-Musk dynamic wasn't just bizarre. It was the natural evolution of a timeline where memes run faster than morals. These weren't just 2 powerful men. They were walking engagement farms. Every handshake, every tweet, Every awkward high five was a carefully engineered algorithmic event, optimized not for diplomacy, but for dopamine. They weren't building a better future. They were A/B testing reality. It's like society outsourced leadership to a collab between a Florida retirement home and a Reddit thread. One promises to drain the swamp, the other wants to terraform Mars, but neither of them can finish a sentence without triggering a federal investigation or a crypto pump. And we, the audience, are stuck doom-scrolling their bromance like it's a toxic situationship we can't unfollow, because deep down, it's entertaining. Morally confusing? Sure. But it's also the first political storyline with a literal SpaceX subplot. And let's not ignore the symbolism here. One made billions selling electric cars. The other burned through billions selling hats that said, "Let's go back to 1952. It's like watching the future and the past try to make a podcast together. But here's the kicker. They didn't really care about each other. Not in any meaningful sense. What they cared about was relevance. Musk needed a shield from regulatory heat. Trump needed a tech messiah who wasn't too busy coding to kiss the ring. So they played nice. For a while. Until the algorithm decided it was time for drama. Then came the unfollows, the sarcasm, and the interviews where they both pretended they were never that close. It was Hollywood, but for billionaires with blue checks. In the end, the Trump-Musk bromance didn't explode. It evaporated. Not with a bang, but with a passive-aggressive Truth Social post and a quiet unfollow, which, in billionaire language, is basically a restraining order. But maybe that's exactly how modern power works now. Not with speeches or coups, but with algorithmic ghosting. Today, the fall of an empire looks like an iPhone screen that says, "This user no longer follows you." Because let's be real, their bromance was never about friendship. It was a brand collab, a hype beast drop. Trump x Musk was just supreme for boomers. And the breakup? That wasn't a tragedy. That was content. Another cycle in the rage economy. One more viral moment in the never-ending TikTok of American decline. But here's the uncomfortable truth. We let this happen. We binge-watched it, retweeted it, made memes out of it. We treated two men with world-shaping power like Real Housewives with launch codes. So the question isn't what went wrong between Trump and Musk. The question is, why did we ever think they were on the same team to begin with? One is allergic to regulation. The other is a walking violation of terms and conditions. One wants to go to Mars. The other wants to turn Earth into a casino. Together, they were never going to save democracy. They were just going to live stream it in 4K with product placement. So here we are. The bromance is dead. The memes are fading. But the consequences? Still trending. And if we don't wake up, the next bromance won't be between a president and a tech CEO. It'll be between an AI and your attention span. See you in the algorithm.